All right, all right, all right. Greetings and welcome back, everyone. I pray everybody is doing well. This is Amuna, and I had to come on here, boy, because the week just a run. The week of on track shoes, and the week is running. You understand? And so I said, I can't make the week run off and lift me. I'm gonna come and do a one read. You understand? So here we are. I know it's a little in the middle of the day. So those who are here, thank you. And those who will listen afterwards, sorry you missed the live, but it's gonna be all good. Today we are going to read a little bit because I got some requests. They're like, Amuna, you can't do Bob Marley right now, Amuna. Cause you never read the other part them. And I was like, hold on, let me take off this thing real quick. And I'm like, what you mean? He's like, what about Evette? I am here. I'm reporting for duty, sir. Right? So he's like, what about Evette? I'm gonna. So there's a few things I have to read before we wrap up this series. And this conversation about the last baby mother, Evette, is what we are going to be reading today. All right? So this is popular demand here. And we're going to go ahead and jump into it. I pray everybody is doing well. The sound is echoing. Let me know how it is now before I start. It was because the YouTube was up on the other side. Hopefully now everybody can hear me and it's all to the good. All right. This book series, if you like the book series, drop some red, gold, and green hearts in the comment section or some books, whatever you choose. If this book series was fire, drop some fire emoji. You understand? Because this book series, what may I tell you? But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and I guess our UK people is like, finally, man, I forgot my bed, right? So, I just came on early today. I came on early today because I got other things to do. Fire emojis. The book series was litty. So we are coming from Cedella Marley. Cedella Marley. And this is the popular request of the Evette situation. Now, Evette is the last known baby mother. Fire emojis. The Evette is the last known baby mother, right? And we know that when he falls down after 6 months, things go quickly. So the last time, y'all know how I like open it. The last time we saw Nesta, it wasn't good. It was a serious situation. We were looking at what was going on with his foot and hearing, how he got in that position and how it started and how it progressed. But we're going to dial it back a little bit. Okay. So we're coming from chapter 13. This is Cedella Marley, chapter 13. And she tells the story, I think more so than Rita does. So today we just coming from Cedella's book. Then there was Evette, whom Nesta met in California. Evette was a radio DJ in Berkeley, California, and a former girlfriend of Johnny Nash when Nesta got involved with her. First sentence, Nesta, why? If we remember Johnny Nash earlier on, Rita talks about when they first get the papers after Nesta, it's arguably, did he get dipped or did he voluntarily leave? But Johnny Nash, they got papers because Johnny Nash came to Jamaica in like early 70s and they signed a deal with him and they came up to do some promotion. And that was when Rita came up and then he told the people in the paper that Rita was his sister. Y'all remember that? JAD Records, that's Johnny Nash. So let's continue. So why is Nesta hollering at Johnny Nash old girlfriend? Right? So the Evette was Johnny Nash old girlfriend. She was a fair-skinned woman from Philadelphia, very fidgety and with enough mouth. But remember, his mother told us before that, and shout out to Jane, everybody. Jane says she got some chemo and waiting for, oh wow, Jane, we sending you the healing energy right now. Jane is going through some stuff right now. So we sending you love, light, and healing energy right now. So Evette now is a fidgety with enough mouth. When we know, according to Cedella, that Bob don't really like the enough mouth thing. So why would he be with Evette? She began visiting me regularly in Delaware, sometimes when Nesta was present, sometimes when he was gone on tour. So it coming like the woman them love off Sedella. They feel like the way, because Nesta love his mother, so the way to Nesta is through Sedella. I don't know. When Nesta was home, she spent the night in his bed. What kind of slackness? Early slackness. It says here, when he was away, she stayed by herself in a guest room. But for the most part, I didn't mind having her around. Oh boy. I'm sorry. Where's she at right now? She didn't mind having her around. For she was lively, funny, chatty, and loved to laugh. With her bright spirit, she gave me good companionship. Then she and Nesta suddenly fell out. So the girl, the Evette lady in bed herself, now she and the mother are friend. And then all of a sudden, because Nesta don't be falling out with nobody, right? She and Nesta falls out. Nesta was done with Evette, but Evette was not done with me. That's kind of uncomfortable. She grabbed and held on to me like a crab. She wrote often long letters of 3-4 sheets. That sound kind of like Rita, in it. So Nesta, she came in and chatting up still his mother. Nesta would return from touring and see her letters lying around and ask, what Evette I write you about now? I saw Nesta this sweet woman then. I heard her life story several times and in many versions, over the phone, through the mail, face to face. Around this time, we had moved to Miami and found that Nesta was getting so much fan mail that we had to set up a system for answering the letters. But Nesta didn't want to start a fan club. He said that sounded too funny and egotistical. So we founded the Movement of Ja People as an organization for handling the mail from fans. I'm going to come to the comment sections in a little bit, y'all. Evette struck me as the perfect choice. Why is Sedella bringing in Evette when Sedella know that Bob not in a nothing with Evette? Why I know? Here comes Sedella bringing in Evette. Evette struck me as the perfect choice to help me with the correspondence. She had public relations experience. As a former DJ, she knew Nesta's music well. Moreover, she was used to dealing with the public. Basically, Sedella's like, who am I about to give this work to? Because I ain't trying to do it. Okay. I called and asked her if she liked to come to Miami and worked for the Movement of Ja People. And she eagerly agreed. Surprise, surprise. I haven't said that in a while. We know she was going to agree. She said she was on her way to visit Johnny Nash. Wait a minute now. At his horse farm and would come by afterwards. So she was still visiting Johnny Nash? Soon she was living under my roof, working for the Movement of Ja People. Yo, what was they into? Yes, Evette is Makita's mother. This is who we're reading about. So if I'm to get this correctly, y'all, Nesta has a fling or whatever he likes to call it. And then he's like, Chuck, me no ask she again. And then she already done cleave on to Sedella. And now Sedella said, boy, you know, some have a job opening for you. And then bring her to the house knowing that Nesta's not really into anything. Recipe for interesting equation. No. Nesta, however, showed no further interest in Evette as a woman. He would be in and out, depending on his recording or touring schedule. And she would be up and about the house as an employee, handling the correspondence from Nesta's fans all over the world. Pure mix-up, man. Their footsteps would crisscross in the drawing room, kitchen, and patio, but his bedroom door remained closed to her. Hey, look at, okay, Evette, you can't come in here. I'm done with you. Everything was proceeding more or less smoothly, except that every now and again, Evette and her nuff mouth would rude off to me And I'd have to teach her manners by boxing her face. One day, for example, I asked Evette to phone the dentist and make an appointment for me. I thought I thought Evette was there for the movement of Ja people. How did Evette become your personal assistant? Later that afternoon, she was driving me somewhere in my Cadillac. Tell us what she was driving. When I asked her if she'd remembered to call the dentist. So now she turned driver, personal assistant, and correspondent for movement of Ja people. In reply, she gave me a feisty answer, asking me if I thought the phone card was tied to her. And she said the nasty P word. Ew, Evette. Evette must have said not take liberty with me. What? I cried, unable to believe my ears. Who you talking to? I leaned over and boxed her on the side of her face. But so you can't go around and box people. So I want to Bob get this thing from. You and Navo Bob get this thing from. How come you never lean off and box Nesta no time after I'm turned big? How you go box the people in big picnic? I was immediately sorry. I would hope so. For I had on a ring with a pointed tip and it left a red pock mark in her skin. City, why did you haul off and box the girl? When I hit her, she jumped a mile, burst into tears, and ran my Cadillac into the embankment with a jolt. Is so you try to mash up my car? Real? Yo. Did she say after she boxed the lady and caused her to nearly crash? Is so you try to mash up my car? I yelled at her. Get out of my car right now. She jumped out of the car and slammed the door. I slid over to the driver's seat and drove myself home. A few minutes later, Evette came to the house and said she wanted to remove her to me. I left out of this and the too terrible. Pack up everything you own and get out of my house, I barked at her. City. Where did the humility go? City? You box the woman, you bring her for movement of Ja people, turn her in a personal assistant, turn her in a driver, okay? Then box her, then tell her to come out of your car, and then come out of your house. She goes on to say, she made a great fuss as if she was taking down her clothes off the hangers, but taking down nothing, as if pulling clothes out of drawer, but pulling out nothing while I sat and watched. The next thing I knew, I saw a strapping uniformed man looking over me in my own hallway. What wait? I exclaimed. Is no police this? Why was Evette buying time, yo? Why she called Babylon? In the background, I glimpsed another officer lurking by the front door. What you doing here, officer? I asked. He replied that they had a report from one Evette that a lady in this house was fighting and beating her. What do you mean? Maybe I have to go read that story. Yeah? No, officer, I asked him sweetly. Look at me, poor old woman, and this a young girl. You think me could have fight this? You think me would have beat this? We see where Nesta get it from. You heard no? Me, officer, the old woman. She pulled a Norval. Puzzled, the officer looked from me to Evette, then turned sharply on his heels and snapped to his partner, come on, Eddie. And the two of them climbed into their patrol car and drove away. Evette, I said to her, why you bring policeman in at my house? She burst into tears and began one loud piece of hysterical wailing and bawling. Look at your eyes, she howled, trembling. Look at your eyes. She was cowering before me as if she was about to throw herself in front of me and beg mercy. You wait till Bob come, I tell her. Good evening, and afternoon and dear everyone who have just joined us. We are seeing the shenanigans and the antics of City. And this is why for me, people like City be lying. Why would she lie on the way she don't look too good in this scenario, but she told us the story nonetheless, right? I appreciate your honesty. Let's continue. You wait till Bob come, I told her. You wait till I tell him that you bring policeman to my house. I love when people tell a half a story. Why did she bring the policeman to your house, love bunny? Because you felt that you were emboldened enough to slap the grown woman. Later, everything settled down and was forgiven. And we resumed working together on the movement of job people. Like, don't worry about it, like a box where we give. Don't worry about that, man. Come make we finish right up then later, yeah. Evette had moved into an apartment where she received her own visitors. She had one boyfriend whose name was Vincent. I know Evette boyfriend name, and who used to come and visit her. And another nickname, LA, a young but manly boy who was madly in love with her. Evette too was smitten with the boy. Once I overheard her asking her mother if she thought the boy was too young for her to marry. It looked like City like it mixed up, because how you know all of this? You overheard I either eavesdrop. You just say, I what that if it over there say she want to marry the young boy. One Saturday, Evette came by and invited Nesta to come and see her new apartment. The two of them drove off in Evette's car. Nesta, that don't make no sense. If y'all was in the house and you ain't want to talk to Home Skillet and you ain't want nothing to do with her, why would you go see? Why would you care about her apartment? That don't make no sense to me, but let's continue. So one Saturday, Evette came by and invited Nesta to come and see her new apartment. The two of them drove off in Evette's car. City two mix up. She loved the IPC. The weeks flew past. Nesta went on tour. Then he collapsed in Central Park, and the diagnosis fell on us like a terrible judgment. So she's giving us the time frame, right? She's giving us the time frame. The cancer in his toe had spread to his brain. There was no hope. Nesta fell into a long and painful dying. One day, during the unbearable heaviness of my grief, I rang Evette. The same Evette where your box, right? Sobbing, she said she couldn't talk, but she'd call back. My mind, how the tables have turned. She called back a few minutes later, still sobbing, to blurt out, after some wailing and gnashing of teeth, that she was pregnant. But you know how City slid that in there? City slid in that she moved out. She had a boyfriend named Vincent in LA. Okay. But then she also put in there that Bob was on the scene of the incident. Okay. So according to City, we got three possibilities according to the way she laid this story out for us. I know me just I read. So I don't know how she said it because I don't, I'm pregnant for Bob. So she said she's pregnant. Yeah, right now. For who? I think it's for Bob. What? Girl, you lie. Wait a minute, City. Were you calling her to cry? And then she tell you she thinks she's pregnant. And then she said, where girl? Sorry. Where girl? You lie. I'm not sure. I have to check my diary. Back to the diary again. Yo, was Evette over there like, dear diary? Bob did come at me yard one Saturday. I mean, don't know what take away. What the diary telling us? You know what? Here, City, no, you do that. She checked and she came back with the same story. The child was Nesta's. It was due on the 11th of May, according to her. She said the conception had happened on the day she'd taken Nesta to see her new apartment. What kind of scene that? Hey, you don't ever go on an apartment tour and then somebody end up breed? What kind of apartment, what kind of housewarming is this, fam? It was the wrong kind of housewarming. How you go to see a new apartment and then end up breed somebody? What are we doing? What kind of seeing that? Anyway, at Nesta's request, I went to Germany to care for him during his sickness. Why y'all popping up in the comment section? And when I got there, I told him what Evette had said. He remarked that she hadn't told him that the child was his. She'd only said she was pregnant. I promised him that if the child was his, I would care for it. Then we moved on to other things, for he was suffering terrible pain. 2 weeks later, no, 2 weeks after Nesta passed, Evette bore her newborn baby she named Makeda to show me. I thought her name was Makeda, but she have here Makada. I think her name is Makeda. I could be wrong. It was a beautiful child, a healthy and bubbling daughter, which is very sad that she never got to see him. Evette moved to Philadelphia and disappeared for a while. The squabbling over the estate had begun. I found myself fighting to keep the roof over my head, and as the house that Nesta had given me was in danger of being taken away by the administrators of the estate. When Evette phoned again, she was in a hysterical mood, weeping that her baby was hungry and that she would have to go on welfare, for she had no means of support. What a preke, okay? I angrily told her not to take Nesta's name down to the welfare office, and I agreed to help her with some temporary support until it could be proved that the child was really Nesta's. Nesta. Soon, Evette had hired a lawyer who submitted an application to the administrator of the estate, claiming that she had borne Nesta a child who should be numbered among his heirs. Rita refused to sign the paperwork acknowledging Nesta's fatherhood. Rita's probably like, bruh, I don't know nothing about this. First of all, Sadella, you are the one who supported this. I mean, I can't, man, bro, you supported slackness, man. Based on what you're telling us, you supported Amzos. Some straight up and down slackness. So in this, Rita's probably like, I don't know nothing about this. This is all on y'all, Jed. So Rita's like, bruh, refused to sign the paperwork acknowledging Nesta's fatherhood. Was she there? Evette took a blood test, but the results were inconclusive. Interesting. Anyone could be the father. Evette's not supposed to take the blood test. The baby is. Against his other children. To see if they're siblings. Anywho, as Jamaicans say, dead cut words. Nesta could no longer speak for himself. All you have to do is test a Ziggy and test a young baby, or test that's all you would have to do. Yet with Evette still yapping in my ear over the phone, begging scraps for her newborn. Yo, I don't like that verb. Begging scraps for her newborn? Are we that far removed when you didn't know whatever happened to Norval? Begging scraps for her newborn? That didn't sit right with me, but we're going to continue. I realized that there was an innocent involved, a child born into a world where adults were quarreling over her past, her paternity, and her future. I consented to sign the paper admitting Nesta's paternity of the infant. Sadella, you the one who brought old lady in the house. You the one who talking about you was moving your people. Okay, yeah, right up into the spot, okay? And you already knew what it was, Sadella. You facilitated the thing. Let's continue. Rita had little to do with Evette before or after Nesta's passing. Evette was simply one more woman in Nesta's life, one more annoyance for Rita. Why she keep beating Rita up? What? Why she keep? Oh, y'all mad with Rita? Hold on, let me see here. Hold on. One more annoyance to Rita, one more pinprick of jealousy. And as I said, when the dispute about Nesta's paternity of Makeda came up, Rita flatly refused to sign the papers admitting the child as a claimant to the estate. I mean, why did you want her to? Was she there? You probably know more than she did. You could attest to more than she did. Was she buddy with the lady? How was she supposed to know? Instead, she brought the papers to me and said, "You do what you think is right, Mom. You were there." Same thing? I wasn't. Me no fault her on that one day. Me never did it. And for the child's sake, I did sign the papers. Hey, we almost there, peoples. We're almost there. Nevertheless, Even though, why is Rita's name being called so much? Even though Rita never came into the same kind of jealous conflict with Evette that she suffered with Cindy, I remember one conversation I overheard between Nesta and Rita that summed up the many complications that came between them and lasted until the final separation caused by death. Let's throw Rita under the bus one more time. But Rita was then expecting. Hey, listen, do you know how far back Sedella just jumped? This is 1981. She's expecting Stephanie home. She jumped back like almost 8 years. Basically, like people are saying, she's bringing up the Taki situation that even if it's not his pick me, then you shouldn't have nothing to say, Rita. It says Rita was then expecting Stephanie, conceived while Nesta was away working in England. When Nesta returned from England, he found that Bunny and Peter didn't want to tour anymore because they were tired of flying and he needed to find someone else to back him up. This someone else would later turn out to be the I3s. He phoned Rita and they had a long, long chat. Somehow, I don't know how. He or she know not. You hear the story, but me don't know how. A rumor had started that Nesta planned to marry Evette to get his permanent US papers. Remember the whole paper situation we went over, and I asserted that him marrying Rita at the time caused him to lose his status, right? Based on what we read. But how he gonna, if he's still physically married to Rita, then how in the world is he gonna marry Evette? I don't know where that rumor came from. And word had gotten back to Rita's ears. For his part, Nesta was suspicious about Rita's latest pregnancy. The exchange, as I gathered from listening, eavesdropping, what that them say? Eavesdropping, went something like this. No, this is sus. That party is sus, right? I have to admit, because she telling us she was eavesdropping. So me, you say you're going to marry a white woman, Rita said. Yo. Yo, Sedella, son. So me here say you're breeding. Who the baby father? This is the conversation she said she heard between Rita and Bobby. You tell her you're already married or you're keeping it secret. Me in England working and you in Jamaica breeding baby. So who the baby father? Tell me now, why you hiding it? Man can't marry two women at once, you know. Then we'll lock you up. How is she hearing this unless she's listening on the other end of the phone? Because if he's in England, how is Sedella? Hold on, let me back up because, wait a minute, what'd she say now? She said that she heard a conversation. There was no speakerphone back then. So how is she hearing Rita's response? Anywho, she said, man can't marry two women at once, you know. Then we lock you up. Married woman, not here, Bob Nona. Married woman not supposed to breed when husband not there yard. You don't know that. Nesta eventually got tired of the back and forth chatter and I think he did hang up the phone. Him handed me the phone. That's what I said. How she hear Rita? Unless she over there eavesdrop. Me hear your son going to marry one white woman, Rita quipped. To who? How you mean to who? Maybe right now, even as you and me talking, the girl might be there listening. And in this, Rita was partly right. Evette was at my house then, spending time with Nesta, but she was not listening. We know she wasn't listening, Sedella, because you were. What a mix-up. What a whole mix-up. What a whole mix-up. So for those who like, Amona, you have to read the Evette portion. There you go. That Evette portion was low-key funny. It was low-key funny, but not. So let me come to the comment section here. We just have a few more topics to touch on here. But that Stephanie situation, the Taki situation, really, really, really caused a lot of long-standing issues with the family and the surrounding people. So let me come to the comment section. I'm gonna go. What time now? Where we at? 30 minutes in. This one is not long today, peoples. It's not long today. So if you want to come up and share your thoughts, I'll just open it up and say, what are some of the things that have stuck out to you? What are some of the things you are still confused about that we may have read or gone over? Go ahead and click the link. Yeah, that's what they're saying. Evette was white. I didn't read what was Sister Hilda says 17 of Sedella's book. No, I didn't read 17 yet. So I had a request to read let me see what's in 17. I had a request to read the Evette situation, and it's just interesting that Nesta had no problem with being with other people's women. Oh, the Pascaline thing. Okay, no, I didn't read that part yet. That I just read was what I just read was the Evette thing. So let's go ahead here. Do. Rita better than me. Yeah, he was doing the most. He was doing the most. Bob was a social climber. No, yeah, I don't know. I don't know where that rumor would have come from. That was interesting. Again, that part of the book really feels sussy because unless she was eavesdropping on the other line, how did Sadella hear the back and forth between them, right? And that part is placed interestingly in the book. And it's right where Rita's refusing to accept a possible outside child, and I think the author took, and she put this part in that part of the book to show that, I don't know, maybe Rita didn't have the she shouldn't have resisted then, right? Because she's not innocent. That's what I got from it, because they already went over the tacky situation. So why couch it in this way, right? Let's see. Yeah, the mother definitely, the way she spoke to that Evette at the time, and the way again, she's doing what she saw, because she saw her father Omariah with similar behavior with all of the woman them, and I don't think, possibly she didn't see anything wrong with it, but it definitely caused conflict. It's not only Bob's behavior is causing the conflict, Sedella's behavior is also causing the conflict. So that's how the last baby, they're saying, was born. But according to what the book just said, there isn't a concrete, like the blood tester confirmed. They said it was inconclusive, which I find interesting. Did Rita's book mention 1971 in detail about Rowan's mother and Robbie's mother being pregnant? Yeah, 1971, Rita, hold on. All right, yeah, this is for any questions you may have. Let me get Rita's book 1 second. I'm gonna run this commercial. Let me get up and get Rita's book, and then we're gonna look at that question a little further. One moment. Island Twist follows Jackie Brown, a young girl who finds herself head over heels for the new island boy at school in fresh outer yard, and Jackie has the fever. But as she navigates the ups and downs of her new crush, things quickly spiral out of control when her not so secret admirer becomes determined to sabotage her relationship. So check out the new novel Island Twist over on Amazon today. Now back to the story. Let me go back to this question here. I have Rita's book right here. Let me change it boy, this has been like a whole college course 101 here. Rita's book, in detail, it just talks about, this is what it says. I don't know how far in detail it goes, but it says, or I don't know how far in detail you want. It says here in chapter 6, I don't like to remember the summer of 1971. It was such a low time. Of course, I was glad to see Bob when he came home. I'd been lonely and worried. In those days, you couldn't just pick up the phone. You had to stand by the gate and wait for the postman. Though with 3 children to care for, I didn't have much time for standing and waiting. Still, whenever I wasn't working, doing something, I was back to asking myself if this is all there is. if this is what my life is going to be. What kind of future am I making for myself and my children? So they did the whole JAD records thing. Hold on, let me go forward. She's going to tell you why. Hold on. So 1971, she said she was at a low here. All right, let me not skip. It says here, and of course, we were still at Auntie's, which put me back into my childhood position as though I'd never grown up and would always be dependent. My kids now use the stool that Papa had made for me. You remember the stool where she used to borrow on the corner of those? And when I discovered I was pregnant, the day I knew, I took the stool to the corner of the yard where I used to go after Auntie's spankings and sat there trying to absorb this latest calamity and to figure out what to do. So imagine you're in a position where you're pregnant and you're married and you're calling the pregnancy a latest calamity. She's not secure. It says, I was devastated. I couldn't imagine how this would affect everyone. As a strict Rastafarian, I did not use birth control or believe in abortion. It's our belief that such practices are intended to kill off the Black race. I waited as long as I could before making the big announcement. I told myself this was just to be sure, but that was just an excuse. Auntie's response was predictable. She stood with her hands on her hips and her nose in the air. My Lord, what is this again? I'm not another baby. I knew it was gonna happen. You can't go on like this. You got to put a stop. You have to find a place to put your children. So when Bob, the last time he was over there, Mama, imagine me take her out to Auntie house. Bruh, she was about to be 4 babies deep, still living at Auntie. Like, can we get some time here? But let's continue. Where are we with the other picnic then? The question was about, so that was her situation when she realized that she was pregnant. Oh, where is the money coming from? What are you doing with your life? You cannot steer with so much children. There's no room. Everybody's in a one room, and that's not right. You never grow that way. You grow with your own room. To have so much kids in a one room, all of the picnic them in a. Okay? And this was what year? 1971. So she decides that she's going to go to Delaware. But I'm trying to get to the part where she says that she realizes that somebody else was pregnant. So she goes to Delaware and tries to make some money. She's pregnant with Stephen, and she goes there with Ziggy. Hold on, the peoples. And she working for people, doing all kind of stuff while she's still pregnant. Do-do-do. Okay, she left Sharon and Sedella with Auntie. Hold on, the peoples. Give me a second. This was impromptu. I think she may have glossed over it. She may have glossed over it. I don't think, now that I'm revisiting, I don't think she goes into depth. She may have glossed over it. Here it is. I went home as soon as Stephen could sit up. So Stephen is born in America, right? I didn't know until then about the 2 young women Bob had been seeing while I was in Delaware. Though I had suspected one even before I left, because remember, he breed them like all that summer. Boom, boom, boom. It says, I'd even gone to her mother to say, tell your daughter to stay away from my husband. Well, let me take this out. Wait. So, my girl roll up on the lady and tell her to tell her daughter to stay away from my man. Okay? Both of these women had become pregnant at the same time. Their sons born about a month after Stephen. I was very upset at first to learn about all this, though it's common in Jamaica. But since then, I've come to love both of these boys and think of them as my sons. So that's as much as she went into that particular situation, and I hope that helped. Thank you for bearing with me here as I went and tried to find that. Let me come forward here. Nobody no one come up and share your thoughts. What happened? What happened? You know watching at work? Let me see here. Let's go down. Yeah, Yvette told was Nasim. She told him that she was pregnant and never said it was him. Yeah, that's weird. Maybe again, the way Sedella framed it, it was that she had more than one option, right? Yeah, she doesn't go all the way in. Let's see. Winter says she was a cook up. Really, you think so? Who cook it up? Who cook it up? Yeah, she doesn't go into details. Oh, not quarrel. Yo, why y'all in the comment section? I mean, Sadella, thank you, Lala. Give thanks, enough respect. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Supporting the stream, supporting the book buying. As you know, can see me have a little book buying situation. It said a vet is lying. Oh no, how we know? Yeah, I mean, when she was pregnant, she told him, but she never told him it was his. According to the mom's book, that's what she said. Auntie didn't like, yeah, if you read more about Auntie didn't like Bob. We could see if she said remember, Auntie is an interesting character. Rita's mom is gone, married somebody else. Her dad is in England. This is her dad is Rita's brother. I mean, Auntie's brother. And they give Auntie, who doesn't have a child, Rita to. So she's putting everything into this young girl in hopes that she gets herself together. So to see that she's going in the direction that she's going in, you could see why Auntie is lamenting. Like, bro, what are you doing? What is going on with you? And it's okay. One child, she took Sharon. Two children, now Sadella. Three children, now Ziggy. Four children. Now Auntie's like, come on, all of y'all in one room. This is not going to work. It's not healthy. It's not going to work. So I could kind of see Auntie's position, but according to Don Taylor, Bob really didn't like Auntie. He really didn't like Auntie. Rita says that he doesn't like Auntie, but according to Don Taylor, he thinks Auntie is the one who goozied him. And I'm like, what? Here is the page. Bob never really liked Auntie and would always say that she was a practitioner of Obia. He expressed great fear of her to me. The relationship with Rita developed despite Auntie, and they ended up living together and producing some four children during this period. Remember, Sadella speaks on Bob thinking somebody goozed him. That's why he didn't remember the wedding day. But Don Taylor goes as far as to say that the person who Bob thinks it is Auntie. What in the world? You were living up in this lady's house and procreating in this lady's house. If she wanted to do something to you, wouldn't she have done it? That doesn't make any sense. I mean, there was something else that I wanted to share along those lines. Hold on one second. So while I'm here and seeing any more questions or comments, there was one other thing that I wanted to share. It was from a video a couple of videos ago about the Leslie Kong situation. So hold on. Let me see if I can find that one. Here it is. It was on the next page. As relayed by what chapter? Chapter 2. This is coming from, I don't even think I changed Don Taylor's banner here. They'll be like, that ain't not Don Taylor. Read that book. Boom, Don Taylor. Well, there you know. This is for, I forgot the name of the video, y'all. But I was talking about why would Sadella say that people were afraid of Bob, right? And that he put a curse on Leslie Kong. This is what Don Taylor says about that same situation. It says here, the studios of Perry and Kong were themselves frequently releasing the Wailers' tunes, but not to the liking of Bunny, Peter, and Bob. Leslie Kong died at 38 of a heart attack, and we shared that information. Kong had no previous trace of heart trouble, but died immediately following a curse wished upon him by the Wailers. Who told him that? Who, liked all recording artists of the time, knew they were being exploited. The story about Bob's deadly curse went the rounds, and when coupled with Planner's interpretation of the dream and the ring, had already begun to create an aura of mysticism, which would always later surround his life. So the reason I read that is because I forgot to cross-reference that, because Sedella said something similar, that people thought that Bob is the one who put a curse on Leslie Kong to make him drop dead because he was stealing from him. Curious. So we read yesterday or this week when Bob is like, what did he do? I'm like, you had people going around saying that you put a curse on somebody, but at the same time, you afraid of Auntie because you think Auntie's into stuff? Let me make that make sense. Make that make sense. Make that make sense. Let me see what's going on here. Let me come on to the comments section right quick, sees. All right, peoples. Whew. I hate that Rita rationalizes Bob's behavior. Even though infidelity is common, it doesn't make it normal. It's still dysfunctional, normalized dysfunction. I would have to agree. Just because something is normal doesn't mean it's not dysfunctional. It's like people have these pictures of people at the beach in 1950s versus people at the beach in 2024, right? And now it is the as a society, the standard weight or the mean weight of the people has increased from that time. So even though it's now normal, that doesn't mean that we, the people, don't have on more pounds than we should, right? It has become this new normal. I just use that for an example. So yes, I believe in something that's normalized, but it's also dysfunctional. And when people have relationships that are traumatic or relationships that are dysfunctional, how do you cope? How do you stay in something without giving it some level of normalcy? Otherwise, else you're not going to be able to stand it. You have to be like, well, at least this is what we do. At least it's not that bad. At least this time this didn't happen. People do that. They rationalize so that it's not that bad. Mama Booker was part of the problem. I agree. She shouldn't have supported Bob in bringing the women into the house. There's a possibility. I've seen her around, but there may be a question that many of us don't know about. But again, Sedella says she signs off on it, and so she has the Marley name. Let's see her. Y'all stop. Y'all stop. Rita was a young girl. I know we went over this. Rita, I thank her for her transparencies in these retellings. She was a young girl who, in the beginning, I think she had a lot of what's the word I'm looking for here? She had a lot of not just concerns. She had a lot of elements that were missing emotionally. You know what I mean? Because of the society, because of the culture, because of her family structure, right? And that showed in her relationships that she formed later on. Yep. Sedella did enable Bob. Bob could tell Sedella, can y'all stop? Do you really trust a word Don Taylor said? We already went through this cross-referencing. There's a video, The Truth Lies in Between, Hawk. So you could check that out where I cross-reference Don Taylor, Sedella, and Rita, right? And knowing that Don Taylor's book came out first. So I did that because people will say, okay, this person is something in this area. That means every single thing this person says is a lie. If that be the case, then there's a lot of people that we shouldn't be listening to. He does tell you who he is. That's why if somebody tells you who they are, a full liar wouldn't say they're a scammer. Who's chopping the line and telling you, say, me, I go chop the line. So to a certain degree, the person is coming out saying, listen, this is who I am. So I'm like, okay, I see some inconsistencies in the storyline when he first doing the first retellings, but there's a lot of other things that's lining up with what other people said. And like I said before, this had to be floating around because Don Taylor said it before Sedella wrote it down. It must have been oral tradition, and before Rita wrote it down. And he was there. We can't negate the fact that he was there. He was there. Oh, that's what I wanted to know. I'll put that up another time. He was there. So if we have to give a little bit more reason to not trust a word that Don Taylor says, you know. Oh, Kevin says that this guzum does not exist. Okay, okay. So we. Oh boy, the spirit of lust. It was. I think it was passed down. He saw it. He experienced it. It was around him in childhood. Um, it was justified, and it was definitely because it wouldn't make any sense if you're not dealing with this woman. Why would you be there for her to call her your name like that? You know. Let's see. Yeah, I saw Beverly Kelso. I saw her. I heard that she's going to be writing the book, so hopefully she does. Actually, I was sent a clippings from, and shout out to the subscriber who sent it to me, from So Much Things to Say Right Now, in which Beverly Kelso gave an interview for that book about Peter. And let me know if y'all want me to read that real quick. What time is it? Where we at? 51 minutes. And I was like, oh, this is curious. This actually goes with what we were speaking about the other day. So if you want me to read it, let me know, and I'll read it real quick about what she says happened between Peter and Rita. Because remember, I showed the movie, and then I showed the article from Germany where Rita is saying that she had like tall, dark, and handsome, and that she was crushing and thought she was going to marry Peter. But people were saying that something happened. So according to Beverly Kelso, who was there in the beginning, she's saying that this is the story of what happened. So if y'all want me to read that, let me know. Yeah, Don Taylor did read errors in the dates, and some of the things didn't line up. Anyone have a picture of? I saw a picture of who they're saying is Evette, but the last time, they said such and such was Taki, and it wasn't. So I decided to forego the putting up of the picture. But there's a picture of Bob sitting next to a woman, and they're saying that it's Evette. She could have just called her a white woman, but she could have been fair skinned, like what Sadella said. It is dysfunctional. Okay, it is dysfunctional. When you really think about the children and what they inherited, I don't think they even have, at least publicly, they don't have the agency or the permission to really discuss what they're experiencing, what they feel. Just by the way you see how, and when they did, in the case of Kimani, he said that it was frowned upon. Here's Kimani's book right here. I didn't go all the way into Kimani's book. Kimani chip Badwood every other day. But Kimani's book is really just about, as a young boy who's a Marley but doesn't have the trappings of being a Marley, right? He's living in poverty. He leaves home. He goes to Miami. They get into, drugs and guns and all kind of stuff. And they're living this very hard life. And it's not till afterwards that the settlement is finished that he has access to the money that, he's supposed to get. But at the same time, according to him, he's getting pressurized to make the decision that they want him to make. So basically, you're going to get this money, but give it back to us, and then we'll mete out some money, little and little, for you. So this was his contention, and he was like, I waited this long for the money. Y'all might as well give it to me. Right? I'll read you a little bit of that from Kimani. He says, because you never read Kimani. I'm going to read a little bit. He says here, but I made it. I made it to 18. And when I finally turned 18, things began to shift. Suddenly, there seemed to be this great interest and love, or some feelings for me that I hadn't felt before. He's talking about the family, right? He says, my family was showing me some level of love that I just couldn't explain. So I was getting a little confused. But I was flowing with it. And plus, it was my time. It was my time to get this payment. I was finally going to get this lump sum of money, my part of my father's estate, that would get us up out of the struggle, and my mama off the bus or the jitney, so that we could wake up a little more peaceful in the morning without stressing over what would come next. It was good news. We had to go through hell, he says, to get to this point, but we had arrived at this day. It's all good. The day had come and we were ready to move forward. Finally, I was told by the estate, okay, you can have this lump sum of money. But if you take the lump sum of money, you're going to have to invest it all back into the estate in full. He goes on to say, and we will give you something like 3 G's a month and a $60,000 payout for your bank account to start. Looking back, that's some old monkey money. I haven't heard monkey money in a long time. Oh, monkey money, that peanuts. If you ask me, then I was told if you choose not to invest the full amount back into the estate, you can no longer be a part of the estate, meaning its earnings. Okay, wow. So here I am. I didn't know the ins and outs of the estate business. I didn't know what to expect. All I knew was the situation that I was in before, period. And then I was listening to my mother's views on it, which wasn't always the correct teaching because it was her emotions at the time and how she felt about all that had happened up until this point. That's understandable, but I was the one who had a decision to make. I was the one who was cornered with these options. He goes on to say, so I looked at everything. I looked at my situation, at my past. And the past is Kimani doesn't make it to the funeral because he doesn't have a ride. So he's a little boy. He's like 5 or 6, and he laments about not being able to make it to his father's funeral because they were poor and they were living in Trelawney, and no one sent for him to come, right? And his mother wasn't able to make it, and so he had to listen to it, if I'm not mistaken, on the radio. Was it the radio? As everybody else in the community was listening, that's how he was able to hear, if I'm not mistaken, I don't want to misquote him, what was going on. So Kimani has a lot of hurt in that respect. Someone else who has issues with the funeral is Cindy Breakspear, where she thought that after the whole Bob situation that she and Rita was good, but then at the funeral they were put to sit in the back. And she talks about that. I heard her either talk about it. I think I've heard her talk about her being put in the back during the funeral. So again, before, after, and during, there's a lot of pain in that situation. So eventually he says this: I heard all these voices and concerns in my head, and I thought, wow, so if I don't give this money right back to you that you just gave to me after all these years, now I'm no longer part of the estate, like I'm no longer a son of my own dad. How could I no longer be a part of the estate whose earnings were based on my father's work, legacy, and intellectual property? All of them would keep living on my father's earnings, but I couldn't. How does that work? And they wanted it all back, not half, not a quarter. These were my options. So that's a little bit about the up here. Kimani goes in. Kimani goes in. So that's that right there. Let me come down and see what else you guys are saying. I heard a long time ago that it was Bunny. Yeah, I mean, I just read from what it could be one of them. I don't know who it is, but that's what he was saying. Yeah, they could do a DNA test, I guess, if they wanted to. I guess them figure the house done gone through the gate already. So, okay, Don is not trustworthy. He was just very unscrupulous agent. In what respect? If somebody's a thief, then you don't get them money. But are they a thief and a liar? Because you can be a liar and you can be a thief, and you can be a thief and a liar, right? If what they're saying is matching with what somebody else is saying, do we discount everybody? I went over this already in The Truth Lies in the Middle. So definitely take a look at the video and let me know your thoughts. A Rasta in the city say, for some reason, Rita doesn't seem like an honest woman. Like, share your thoughts. I think based on what we've read and gone over and cross-reference, there's some things that it doesn't seem like she's being fully transparent with. I would say that, right? And there's some things that when she is telling a story, it's kind of coded, where you're like, wait a minute, you kind of left out some parts. So I would say that's what I got from the way in which the story was. Lee says, I'm glad I caught the notification. Oh, y'all want me to read Kelso? Winter says, I don't know what to believe. This story I mix up. This story is can you imagine when it was really happening real time? I mean, mix up, man. It is. You don't know what's the truth. The Bada says Rita don't tell the whole truth. That I would say based on what we're reading, I would have to agree. There are parts that are missing. I met Kimani in Miami. My dad and Bob are very good friends. I met him while he was playing football for my a good guy. I get like a feeling for like he's deeply emotional, like in touch with what he felt. And he has to be in order to be able to write this and be like, yo, transparent, this is how it made me feel. So thank you for sharing that. But what I got from him is that he felt more outcast, and that is basically he's orphaned on one side and he's struggling on the other side, and he's not getting the support that he thought he would because of where he is in this conversation, right? And so may the Most High be with us all. That's what they said. Well, he says that. Kimani says that's how he had to survive, right? So that's how he had to survive. I don't know. I mean, the way they wrote these books, everybody does have a story, but they didn't necessarily write these books to make themselves look the best. Like if you're reading and you're cognizant, like even the last story Sedella just told about Evette, it's not making her look the best. So the fact that they put that in there, I have to rate it to a certain degree because she could have just left it out. Carla says you crack me up. Give thanks, Carla. I'll be making myself laugh too. Because boy, life is interesting. They're versions of the truth. They are versions. And this goes for our own life. All of these different versions, how do you get to the truth, right? Everybody has an agenda or a part on the circle that they see. And I think the humility is even in this exercise that we weren't there, but we exercise patience in combing through all of these different narratives to see what is the reoccurring theme, right? And so Nasima says she waiting on Alan Skill Cole bitter book. I can't. But what I just was reading up what I know y'all don't like Don, but Don was saying something interesting about Alan and some gambling situation. And I'm like, what? Oh, one more thing that's interesting is that according to 12 tribe of Israel, Rasta chart, right? Everybody functions, depending on where you're born, to a different patriarch of the 12 tribe of Israel. So why did I just come over that Bob thought he was Joseph, and that Joseph's blessing in Deuteronomy 33:16 is Joseph was a fruitful bough? Did he take that like all the way to heart? When I read that, I was like, no, Bob is Joseph. Is this why he was breeding everybody? He was a fruitful bough. That was just a little interesting tidbit from the 12 tribe of Israel days, because they'll be like, oh, you're born January, you're Naphtali. Like they really believe that. You know what I mean? Winter says Skill Cole has a right to be bitter. Mm. Sending love, sending love. How much was the portion? He's saying, I don't know, because he's saying that they were going to give him a 60,000 love sum and a payout, but they wanted to kind of dictate, according to Kimani, they wanted to dictate how he was going to spend it, and that he should reinvest and then take what they were giving him. Yeah, that's the Kimani has misplaced anger, and I think so because if he's 5-6 years old, where was his father during those 5-6 years? The most memory he has is when his father brought him a slingshot back from America when he comes to visit. He's saying this is the most memory that he has. So, it's hard to blame the person who is no longer here, right? And then you look for people who are here to say, you could have done more X, Y, and Z. But Bob has a lot to do. The decisions he made has a lot to do with everything that happened. Because one of the things, basically, according to his ex-manager, he wouldn't say yes or no. He would say, yeah, it looked like it can work, and then put the responsibility on you, according to what the ex-manager is saying, so that if it doesn't work, you can't hold him responsible. I found that curious. You know what? I was thinking that I should read the court doc, right? Because we would possibly see some things. I know Cindy was on Rita's neck during that time. I did find the court doc. I saved it, and I was wondering if I should read it before we boogie out of this whole this whole Bob and Rita situation. Y'all let me know. Rita was the wife, hence why is Cindy crying about sitting in the back row. Uh-oh, we got the lesson. Don't sleep with married men because in the end you're left with nothing. Why would his son be mad at Rita? You're gonna be mad at whoever's here. And remember, one of Kimani's issues is his father is Bob Marley. Okay. And you are living in poverty in Liberty City in Miami. Now, for those who know about Miami, you see the Miami on TV, but there's some parts of Miami, it be Miami, and Liberty City is one of those parts. Okay. And so, when he first got there, so he's, as a young child, he's trying to, you're singing his father's songs, and when he's looking around, he's this superstar, but that's not his reality. So I could see as a young man his frustration. Let's see here. All right, let's go read Beverly Kelso right quick, and then y'all please be respectful in the comment section. Y'all please be respectful in the comment section. Please, please, please. Let's be respectful. And we are having discourse. Everybody's entitled to their thoughts. Let's not get personal and mudslinging. We here to exchange thoughts and the thing on thing on thing. You understand? He was recording music. He was recording new music. Y'all be respectful in the comment section then. Come no man. Make we keep, you see how when we come at the channel and we talk and we have good vibe, it's okay not to agree with everything, but make we keep it above board. A lot of people never got their Kelso, she never got her royalties. Where's all the money? A lot of people never got their royalties because they didn't file their paperwork correctly. Even up until this day, people, they said, according to the simmer down thing, they recorded it in the morning, they pressed it in the evening, and by night it was on the street. That means, when did you register this? How did you register the publishing? Who wrote the song? You know what I'm saying? Or did you get mechanical rights, publishing, or did you get performance? Whoever wrote the song is gonna get publishing. Whoever's name is on it to say. So when you talk about publishing, it's interesting, and especially at that time, if the paperwork ain't set up right, you ain't getting split. Even in this time, it has to be registered with the proper agencies. Let's see here. All right, let's go read a little bit, and then I'm a boogie. Hold on. I hope this situation just helped us to show that there's no even need to, we think we know, but we wasn't there. The people who was there even sound confused. So there's no need to beef with each other. We weren't there. We are really just going over what they left on record, and there's no need to be beefing with each other, man. There's no need. All right, let me go over there, go read it now. Winter, would you like to come up? The people in the chat are saying that you have a curious hatred for Rita. I didn't realize till I started this conversation. We're gonna go into a little bit of Marcus after this. At first, I thought I was gonna go into Beverly Manley. I might save that one. We're gonna go into a little bit of Marcus. There's a lot of material to go into, and so I'm gonna go a little bit into that. All right. This is very emotional, people. Let's see. Kimani thought his dad had money and left the family with money, and that wasn't the case. Well, he didn't leave them with money. He had money. According to Don Taylor, he had he had a account with Don Taylor's name in it in British Virgin Islands, Tortola, and he had millions of dollars in the account. So I guess because based on the fact that he didn't set the thing straight, then that's what the whole fight was about. I can't with y'all rumorings. I can't. Yo, I cannot. I cannot. I cannot. Winter says, I do not hate Rita. I just think she's a liar based on her book and all the other books when compared. I wouldn't call her a flat out liar. I would say that the books kind of cross reference, but she's not as transparent as maybe someone else. All right, people, let's read this thing real quick and then we're going to boogie. Right. I don't idolize people. And that's the thing, that the idolization of the people or anybody in our lives or general won't allow us to see things for what it is, right? Because we'll think, oh, this person could never do this. This person, people are people, humans. To err is human, to forgive is divine. You know what I mean? People do things in curious situations, right? So I would agree, there's no need to idolize anybody. I'm seeing Bob did his work and I respect that, but national hero is just too much. Nanny is more the hero, I would say. Interesting. Yeah, we don't need to call no people names when they don't agree. Walt Disney says, read the Bible. Because they said Bob read his Bible every day, right? What parts was he reading? What did he tune into? Is that what he used to fuel what it is that he was sharing with the world? It's very interesting. Marcus Garvey. All right, let me. It's not about Rita trolls. And people have people take to people. We can't determine that. I may read everybody. So, because the truth really is my objective. I'm going to read from So Much Things to Say really quickly. And this is to clear up another thing about Beverly Kelso's account of what happened between Rita and Peter. So hold on 1 second. Let me go ahead and get that. So much things to say right now. We got so much things to say. So much things to say right now. We got so much things to say. We got so much things to say. I know. All right. All right. See my abitopia so now. We got so much things. All right. According to this narrative here from So Much Things to Say, Roger Stephens says Beverly witnessed a frightening encounter between Peter Tosh and Rita at this time. Right? I'm going to have to get this book because something comes before this, but let's continue. So it says Beverly Kelso, with Peter being with Rita, it wasn't of Rita's will. How the studio makeup, there was a little room on the side. We all would go into the side room and rehearse, relax, do anything in that side room. Well, at this day, Peter was in there. I see when Rita went in, as I said, everybody can go in there. I don't know if she knew he was in there or not. Once we didn't have any session going on, I feel like I want to sit down. So I went in. When I was going inside, I met up on something. Rita's back turned to me. Peter could see my face on. So Peter was forcing himself on her. It was like, hold on, take wetting. It's like something, well, because Rita and Peter wasn't together. They were friends. It was like hold down, like him wanted to have sex or whatever, and she was pushing him off. So when Peter see me now, I come in on them sudden. I just take my time and back out, and I come out smiling. Huh? Bunny over on the other side was looking at me and see me smiling. I'm taking my time coming out. Bunny come around wanted to go inside and I wouldn't let him, because I didn't want him to see what I see. But why you name ball it out? We never said, do you don't want to see what Peter and I do? You should have ball it out. So I wouldn't let him. So I was like backing him up, backing him back up. So Bunny realized something was going on. Until this day, and this was done in 2003, I never tell Peter, I never tell Bunny. You know what, Beverly? I never tell anybody. What? You're supposed to ball it out. I'm saying it on tape now because they're giving Rita a play for that, i.e., she was what is this? Accused of coming on to Peter, which is not fair. You could see that Peter was pushing himself on her. But I think what come out of that after Bunny didn't get to go in, it's like Peter didn't get to do anything. So Rita came out after that. So I think what happened, Bunny realized what was happening and maybe he said it to Peter during the time we were still there going back and forth singing and all of that. Until I don't think they say that Bob here, because if Bob hear about it, I don't think Bob would get close to Rita. So this could be the source of some confusion. But Beverly Kelso, make you never bally out. Make you never bally out. Let's continue. But Bob get Rita during the same time. As I said, Peter was after Rita and Bob was after Rita. So Peter probably was showing, trying to see which one of them could get her first by probably forcing himself on her. But as far as I see, nothing didn't come of it because Bob, she automatically played into Bob and everybody know that the both of them was going together. Because as I said, Bunny said he liked me. How should reach a Bunny no? But can't take them all times. Give us the strength. Give me strength, oh yeah, to carry on my own. Luciana, come in. Give me strength, oh Father. Here, no. Because I said Bunny said he liked me, but at the same time, Bunny liked me. Precious came along with Rita. So Bunny was going with Precious and Bob was going with Rita. So in the evening, no, this sounds like some mix up. In the evening, no, I would go home by myself and they would hang out with Rita and Precious because they were boyfriend and girlfriend. It goes on to say Roger Stephens, but it looked like that book I forgot get. He says, during this time, Rita was still in active correspondence with Sharon's father in England. When Bob caught vision, and we know that why Rita says that too. When Bob caught vision with a letter from Rita to her baby father, she grabbed it away. He grabbed it away from him and then ended their relationship. Bob now considered Rita his girl and acted as a father to Sharon. Meanwhile, the Soulettes began to record, scoring their first hit with a song called I Love You Baby, featuring another precious young singer, Delroy Winson, on backup vocals. The Wailers at the same time were trimming down, leaving the woman in the group behind, but Bob maintained contact with Beverly and often confided in her about the troubles he was having with Rita. Oh, him have trouble so quick and he just there with her. Kelso goes on to say, one thing I know, and I would tell the world, Bob have a confidence in me. I don't know what Bob see in me, but when he feel hurt about any little thing, after we grow up and I stopped going to the studio, he would come to me. Because we want to know why she stopped going to the studio. I didn't know that he wasn't talking to Peter and he wasn't talking to Bunny. He wasn't telling them anything, like when he get in fight with Rita and any little thing wrong. So that's the little clippings when we get everybody panda book there. We don't think about that. So much things to say right now. They got so much things to say. Kelso was obedient to her mother. She got home on a respectable time. You listening? Yeah, when I got that part, I was like, you know what? Peer mix up to rotted. I agree. Peer mix up. I don't love too much hyping. I said the story is sweet. Give me strength. Give me strength. Oh, calling Luciano. When I see how Luciano drag out the mic out of the man and Luciano said, let go this. Give me strength, oh yeah, to carry on my own. Yeah, ask for it. There you go. If there are any more questions, let me know. If not, I'm gonna boogie. Oh, shout out. We got another. Thank you, Lala. Thank you for sending through the super chats. Um, Walt Disney, I don't know, Listen, the reality is when people are famous, there are a lot of people around. So everybody don't see the same thing. My only thing is in this story that Beverly Kelso told, why you never ball it out? If you know Rita's sister and you see something happening to her, why are you not letting it be known? So at which time it doesn't look like some bad information can then some it's some bad information cannot be spread, right? I'm sorry, I was laughing at something else, not this. So the only thing I would say is, why didn't you say something? Because this thing looks strange. Get off of her, leave her alone. You blocking Bunny from going in there, but get off of her. What are you doing? Leave her alone so it could be known. Not that people are giving her a bad name, but that she's being assaulted. If that was it, allegedly, right? Yeah. There's definitely, I would say, I agree, Faith, that the stories is kind of walking, like them said, that story that now walk straight. But what I would say is the way that the whole thing mix up, there has to be some truth. There has to be a kernel of truth to this at the center of this conversation. They were young, hormonal, close proximity, had all of this energy, all of this creativity. They were around each other on a constant basis. Rita was always at the studio, leaving her picnic with Auntie. There is enough time and chance for something to have happened. And based on what she said, she had an inclination towards Peter. Something had to happen to push her towards Bob, right? So I wasn't there, but definitely based on the way the storyline is unrolling or unraveling, something happened. Something happened. So with that, that's all I got for today, peoples. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Like I said, I keep saying there's just a few more things on this conversation. And let me know in the comment section below if you want me to go over the legal docs. That's a whole nother story for another day. But we're almost at the end here of Bob Marley's situation. Yeah, we're almost at the end. Really, after that, it's just the clinic, and that's sad. And his time in Germany, and that's still sad. And, that's what it is. So with that said, I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Yeah, they were young. I agree, Rasta. So they were young, and a young people we are talking about. We're not talking about no big grown people. They're young, 18, 19, 20 years old, and a lot of stuff may have happened, more than we may be willing to admit, you know what I mean? Because of what they ultimately became. But we have to look at where they're coming from. It's like people don't want to believe that Malcolm X used to be ripping and running on the streets. But he was. Malcolm X was with European women, and Malcolm X was robbing people early in Harlem, right? And then he became Malcolm X. But before he became Malcolm X, he was doing other stuff. You know what I mean? That's how he ended up going to jail and converted, because he needed to sit down for a second and get his life together. So it's not like outside of the realm of possibility that before people became who we ultimately know them as, that they weren't doing some interesting things. And that's true, Angela. The sins are repeated, and even the ones that you don't know, you will see come back in the next generation, right? And so this is, for me, the takeaway is people be like, why are you reading the children? I heard Ziggy say he doesn't read any of the books. And I'm like, then how are you learning the lessons? Because there's plenty of it that you don't know, right? And that they may be revisiting because you don't know. Dan says, I'm friends with Evette's daughter, Makita. Thank you for sharing. If you'd like to share about your experience, feel free to let us know. I invite a few people to come up and share their story. That's why I say keep it respectful. Because say you want to invite a Makita, or say you want to invite somebody of who's closer to the storyline to have an interview, you kind of want to keep it respectful, even if we don't agree, so that the people will feel like it's a space where they can come and engage and have a conversation. You understand me? I say so. That's why I said try to keep it respectful, man. All right, all right, everybody. Thank you, Amuna. Stay safe, everyone. Yeah, everybody stay safe. And everybody have a blessed day. And until next time, you don't know already. Are you guys journaling? Are you writing your own stories? Let me know in the comment section below. Like the video, share this video, subscribe. Uh-oh, Chief. I was just on my way out. What did Chief say now? I hear people say they view Bob negatively after hearing about the details of his life. Shame on them because he was a human. We should not idolize anyone. It is idolatry. I agree. Okay, we here go over the documents. I agree. I agree. So, it's because you weren't willing to see the person for who they were, why you can't believe the realities. You know what I mean? Oh, Naja, she started on you and your baby father. She laughing. I'm glad you started on your story. I'm glad. All right, everybody. Let me see if I have our next a different, and shout out to those who brought Hey Pumpkin. Let me go out on the Hey Pumpkin commercial. I have to do some more commercials because I have some other books like cookbook and them something there. So shout out to everybody who's bought Island Twist. Don't forget to leave your review on Amazon as well as the Hey Pumpkin cookbook. So until next time, probably tomorrow night. Probably we're gonna see tomorrow night. I'll come through in the live again. All right, everybody have a blessed day. Listener, all of this jokes and reading got me feeling a little hungry. Do you guys come with your snacks ready, or do you think it's time for an ITAL food break? The Russ and him Empress say, yeah, ITAL food break. So listener, this is Imuna, and not only do I read and write novels, I also do a little something, something. Well, a kind of big something in the kitchen, right? So I wrote this amazing Hey Pumpkin cookbook. Inside, pumpkin seed milk, carrot punch smoothie, listener, even jerk tofu strips. But the tofu is made from pumpkin seeds. So join me on a culinary adventure with the pumpkin seed as we explore the benefits of this green superfood. You already know potassium, zinc, it is loaded and highly beneficial. Again, a high source of iron, zinc, magnesium, vitamin E, and it helps boost the immune system. This book, as well as Island Twist, is available on Amazon today. So go on over and let's get back to the story.